Natalie Ann Lopez was born on May 29, 1968, in Georgetown, Guyana. She grew up with her parents, Reginald and Cheryl Lopez, and her two siblings, Michaela and Reginald Jr. When Natalie was 7, the family moved to Calgary, Canada, and after 2 years, they settled in Pembroke Pines, Florida, where she lived for the rest of her life. Natalie was known by friends and family as a cheerful and friendly child. She worked hard in school and always got good grades. After high school, she went to Florida International University and graduated with a degree in elementary education. She worked as a teacher for a short time before starting a family with her high school boyfriend, Natalie Belmonte. Once their children, Brianna and Aiden, were born, Natalie chose to stay home and focus on raising them. In 2000, Natalie's family experienced the tragic loss of her uncle, leaving behind his 9-year-old son, Gerard Lopez. Feeling a strong sense of responsibility, Natalie brought Gerard to Florida to live with her and later became his legal guardian. She cared for him like her own child, and Gerard felt so much a part of the family that he sometimes went by the name Gerard Belmonte. The Belmonte family faced tough times and filed for bankruptcy just before Christmas in 2000. As a result, Natalie had to start working again and got a job at Home Depot. However, she had bigger goals and began building a new career to support her family. By 2003, Natalie earned her real estate license and quickly found success as a real estate agent. Her intelligence, determination, and friendly nature helped her attract clients and close deals. Before long, she was leading a large team of agents who respected her highly, along with their clients. As her career advanced, Natalie's marriage began to struggle. In 2005, she and Andre separated, and they divorced in 2008. Despite their split, they remained on good terms and shared custody of their kids. After the divorce, Gerard stayed with Natalie at her home in Pembroke Pines, while her children, Brianna and Aiden, lived at their father's house about 2 miles away. Even though Natalie's marriage ended and most of her family was no longer in her life, she still succeeded in her career and took care of her adopted son. However, this wasn't enough to stop the tragic events that were about to happen. On July 16, 2011, Natalie and Gerard left their Pembroke Pines home at about 7 p.m. to attend a friend's graduation party in Hialeah. The two then returned from the party just before 3 a.m. the following day. That same morning, on July 17, 2011, Natalie's sister, Michaela, was surprised to receive a concerning call from Gerard. He recounted how he woke up to find no trace of his adopted mother. Her car was in the driveway, and her cell phone, keys, and purse were in their usual places in the house. There were also no apparent signs of forced entry into the home. Because of this, Michaela immediately went to the Pembroke Pines home to help find clues as to where her sister was. To her horror, she found what looked like blood stains in the master bedroom. Still, they hoped that Natalie would return eventually, so they waited for her. When Natalie hadn't shown up by 7 p.m., her family called the police to report her disappearance. Initial investigations confirmed that the stains Michaela found in the master bedroom were indeed blood. These indicated that a violent struggle had occurred, which likely resulted in a serious injury. Investigators also found clues that suggested an attempt to clean the stains with household cleaning products. 2 cadaver recovery dogs, later brought to the scene, picked up a scent at the trunk and rear bumper of Natalie's car and on the path from the vehicle to the house's front door. These clues heightened her family's concerns for Natalie's well-being. When questioned by the police, Gerard stated that he had been with his mother from the time they left the house yesterday, throughout the party they attended, and when they returned home. He also mentioned stopping by briefly at a Walgreens store on the way to the party for some last-minute purchases. Moreover, Gerard mentioned that Natalie's boyfriend was in town, hinting that she might have had plans with him that she didn't share. The man lived out of state and was only in town for a few days, making it likely that he and Natalie had plans to meet. With this, Detective Katz of the Pembroke Pines Police Department reached out to Natalie's boyfriend. However, the man claimed to have been with his elderly mother throughout the night of Natalie's disappearance. Following another lead, the police then obtained a copy of Walgreens surveillance video and confirmed that Natalie and Gerard had indeed made a stop there. Both seemed calm and relaxed, with nothing in their behavior indicating that anything was out of the ordinary. And so, police continued to scour the Pembroke Pines area for any sign of the missing woman. They also issued a notice asking for any witnesses who might have seen her. A $1,000 reward was also offered for any information that would lead to Natalie's discovery. Soon, the police stumbled upon their first solid lead. Natalie's neighbor called the authorities to report that his security cameras captured footage from the morning of July 17, 2011, and what he saw raised concerns. At 2:49 a.m., Natalie pulled into her driveway in her Lexus, confirming Gerard's testimony of when they returned home. Then, at about 5:08 a.m., the camera captured a man taking Natalie's car and turning it around so that its trunk faced the house. He then re-entered the house through the front door. 4 minutes later, the man dragged a large object into the trunk. The object was about the size of an adult human, and he struggled to load it into the car, suggesting its significant weight. "I said, that's a person. That is a human body." The hair on the back of our neck stood up. We were all just sitting there in really, disbelief at what we were watching. Over the next few minutes, the man went back and forth between the house and the car, seemingly transferring more items. At 5:16 a.m., the man finally drove the car out of the driveway and headed west on Northwest 5th Street. The driver returned approximately 8 minutes later and parked the car in the driveway. He went in and out of the house several more times over the next hour. At 6:03 a.m., the man walked toward the car carrying an object over his shoulder. About 15 minutes later, he dragged several garbage bags, which he placed into the trunk of the vehicle. He then left again at 6:23 a.m., returning 8 minutes later. Finally, at about 7:41 a.m., the man was seen wiping the car's interior and exterior, paying particular attention to the trunk and bumper. This was the final image recorded of the man. Unfortunately, the security footage was too dark and too far to provide any distinguishable features of this individual. Initially, police suspected Natalie's boyfriend might have snuck into her home, but with no evidence to prove this, they needed more information. Based on the footage, investigators surmised that the furthest the man had gone from the house was within an 8-minute driving distance, allowing them to establish a radius in which to focus their search. This conclusion paid off on July 18, when they found garbage bags containing blood-stained towels, bedding, and men's clothes in a dumpster behind a Publix supermarket in Hialeah. The towels and bedding were similar to those owned by Natalie, which were then confirmed to be missing from her home. As authorities expected, preliminary DNA testing revealed that the blood on these items was from the missing woman. This further proved to the authorities that Natalie's disappearance was due to foul play. Then, on July 20, police finally found the body of Natalie Belmonte in a wooded marsh area less than a mile from Pembroke Pines. An autopsy soon suggested that she died due to blunt force trauma to her head. With the case turning into a homicide investigation, they shifted their focus on a new suspect, Gerard Lopez. Given that he was the last person known to have seen her, Gerard went under scrutiny by the police. What investigators soon discovered was a shocking tale of how Natalie paid the price of giving a home to her orphaned cousin. In 2005, when Gerard was 15, Natalie called her ex-husband, Andre, for help. Though she didn't explain the incident that led to it, Natalie and Gerard had a heated confrontation that soon proved to be disastrous. In defense of the mother of his children, Andre ended up striking Gerard with a bat, hitting his legs multiple times. This led to Andre getting charged with battery, which placed him under probation along with a court-ordered parenting class. As Gerard grew up over the years, neighbors saw him having frequent episodes where he would pass out drunk or turn violent when drinking. According to a former friend and neighbor, Lyndon Ramsey, Gerard even tried to sell him laptops and video game devices, though he believed the items were stolen. Despite his behavior, Natalie did her best to support Gerard and guide him toward a more positive path. Friends and family witnessed how she frequently urged him to turn his life around and even implored neighborhood kids to involve him in more wholesome activities. But as Gerard got older, his offenses became more serious, and Natalie found it increasingly difficult to manage his behavior. In March 2008, when Gerard was 17, he stole $20,000 worth of jewelry from Natalie and sold it to a second-hand store. The monetary value of the stolen items constituted felony grand theft, so Natalie pressed charges against him. Following the incident, Gerard moved out to live at a nearby friend's house for a while. However, his misdemeanors continued, from petty theft to breaking into a neighboring house. Still, Gerard somehow managed to stay out of jail for the next 2 years. This was until he filed his immigration paperwork in June 2011. During the process, he learned that the jewelry theft case was still active and that there was a warrant out for him. He was subsequently arrested and spent a month in jail. Despite having filed the charges against him, Natalie appeared in court on July 13, 2011, and vigorously appealed for Gerard's release. She even posted his $1,000 bond and told the judge that her son's behavior had improved significantly since the incident. This happened mere days before her tragic demise. With him being suspected of the crime, Gerard Lopez was taken into custody for the death of Natalie Belmonte. When asked about his activities on the day his mother went missing, Gerard assured police officers that he never left the house. However, officers believed that Gerard was the man captured by the neighbor's surveillance camera disposing of evidence from the house. Not only was he the only other person known to be in Natalie's residence at the time, but the neighbor who owned the security camera testified that Gerard had come to them 4 times to ask if the events of that Sunday morning were recorded, seemingly worried. Unfortunately, the footage wasn't clear enough to positively identify Gerard as the man in the video that morning. Because of this, the police needed more concrete evidence to pin the crime on him. Returning to the Walgreens video, both Natalie and Gerard were clearly shown entering the store. Though this occurred hours before the woman's demise, a particular detail stood out to the authorities. The polo shirt and printed shorts that Gerard was wearing in the video were the same clothes found in the supermarket dumpster. Moreover, these clothes were found stained with Natalie's blood. This was all the evidence police needed, and so, Gerard Lopez was arrested in connection to the murder of Natalie Belmonte on July 20, 2011. He was taken to Broward County Jail and charged with first-degree murder. While investigators initially suspected that Gerard's motive was linked to the jewelry theft charges against him, Natalie's efforts to drop those charges days prior convinced them that his actions might not be connected to this incident. Instead, a more tragic motive came to light. DNA evidence recovered from the victim's body was confirmed to be Gerard Lopez, suggesting that he violated her before ending her life. That man sitting over there, Jerry Lopez, beat, killed, violated his mother. The trial of Gerard Lopez began on September 9, 2013. Prosecutors argued that Gerard's motive for killing his adoptive mother was to conceal his despicable act of violating her. In response, Gerard's defense attorney, Jose Reyes, suggested that his client and the victim had a consensual physical relationship. Natalie's sister, Michaela, strongly denied this assertion. "Jerry has shamelessly lied to my sister, has brazenly robbed my sister before and after her death." The defense presented a witness, Astrid Moreno, who testified that Natalie and Gerard didn't always act like a mother and son to each other. Moreno was also present at the graduation party on the night before Natalie disappeared. Gerard Lopez should get life in prison. Because who can honestly kill the person that loved them the most? On October 16, 2013, Gerard Lopez was given a life sentence in prison. As of now, he is still at the Calhoun Correctional Institution in Blountstown, Florida. Despite being in prison, Gerard has shown no remorse for his actions. In a November 2015 interview with NBC6, he denied allegations of having an inappropriate relationship with his adoptive mother. While he mentioned some borderline interactions, he strongly rejected any inappropriate behavior between them before the incident occurred. Now that Natalie Belmonte's killer is in jail, her family can feel at peace knowing justice has been done. Although Natalie is no longer here, her memory remains strong with her loved ones. At the time, she was busy raising her 2 children, but she also took in her orphaned cousin, providing him with a caring home and trying to help him navigate life despite her own challenges. They viewed him as a brother or son, treating him like a nephew and providing him with a loving home. Her actions show her deep compassion and generosity. Even though her kindness was met with harshness, it doesn't lessen Natalie's true wish to positively impact the lives of others during her brief time on Earth. She had a friendly smile that brightened up any room. Everyone who met her had something nice to say about her.